God bless you, global Christian friends, the American public, the American government. Anytime there's a magnetic match of the north-south magnetic force line, there is a magnetic DIP dip in the magnetic north-south force line. The magnetic match corresponds to the magnetic dip of the magnetic force line. We've seen here that the light of the world, John 8:12, the calmer of storms, Luke 8:24, the raiser of the dead, John 11:43, and other places, the bright and morning star, Revelations 22:16, the good shepherd, John 10:11, the walker upon seas, John 6:19, the riser from the dead, Matthew 28:6, the ascender into heaven, Acts chapter 1, verse 10, and so much more came down to Capernaum after making the water wine at Cana with Mary, his biological mother, and his new disciples, Philip, Nathanael, Andrew, and Peter, his brothers, James, Joseph, Simon, and Judas, Matthew 13:55. His sisters, through their marriage from Joseph's former wife, are Martha, Esther, and Salome, Matthew 13:56. They did not accompany them. And because James and John are the nephew of Jesus through Salome, the half-sister of Jesus, through the former marriage of Joseph, Salome felt it right to ask Jesus to grant that these my two sons, which is your nephews, may sit the one on thy right hand and the other on thy left in thy kingdom, Matthew 20 and 21. The four disciples with Jesus had not yet been put into the apostleship. Some call the turning of water into wine the clear exertion of his divine power, and that he willed this transformation of 48 gallons of pure water into 48 gallons of pure wine. Although his brethren, James, Joseph, Simon, and Judas, did not yet believe on him, that's John 7:5, and his friends said that he was beside himself, Mark chapter 3, verse 21, his sister Salome was always there and had faith in his kingdom, Matthew chapter 20, verse 21, and in his ministry, Mark chapter 16, verse 41. Now we go into that 12th verse of John chapter 2. After this, he went down to Capernaum, he and his mother, we call her, his brother, we know that, his disciples, and they continued there not many days. And the Jews' Passover was at hand, and Jesus went up to Jerusalem, and found in the temple those that sold oxen and sheep and doves, and the changers of money sitting. And when he had made a scourge of small cords, he drove them all out of the temple, and the sheep and the oxen, and poured out the changers' money and overthrew the tables. I know you notice in that verse why he didn't drive out the doves. Because when he released them, they flew out. So there's so much we need to understand about when we read the scriptures, particularly about going up into the gaps of the scriptures and understanding them. He said unto them in verse 16, take these things hence. Make not my Father's house an house of merchandise. Don't forget what he said in John 14:2. In my Father's house are many mansions. Make it not a house of merchandise. And the Bible said holiness becomes the house of the Lord. All right? The disciple remembered that it was written that the zeal of thine house has eaten thee up. That's Psalm 69:9, somewhere thereabout. Then answered the Jews and said unto him, what sign showest thou unto us, seeing that thou doest these things? You see that 1 Corinthians chapter 1, verse 22. They always seek after a sign. All right? Jesus answered and said unto them, destroy this temple, and in 3 days I will raise it up. Now you want to understand that from the perspective of 1 Corinthians chapter 2, verse 9. And you need to read there, you need to go there and read that to understand that perspective. 1 Corinthians chapter 2 and verse 9. I'll tell you what it says. We get there. 1 Corinthians chapter 2, verse 9 says, let me just find it here. It says there, but as it is written, eyes have not seen and ears have not heard, and has not entered the heart of man a thing which God hath prepared for them that love him. You need to understand that. We'll get into that shortly when we return. God bless you, global Christian friends in America.